Hello, I'm Diane Endres the third generation of a fourth generation family business, Endres Manufacturing Company of Waunakee, Wisconsin. It's been a wonderful long history full of ups and downs, but we are celebrating our 90th year. 90 years for Endres Manufacturing Company is a real milestone because most companies don't make it past the second generation, much less the fourth. And now we're looking at moving it to the fifth generation, which is wonderful.
It's technology, it's culture changes, it's management style. I mean, from every different generation, there was great management changes and in the structure.
We get time and time again, people stopping in wanting to sit down for breakfast, you know, or what it is that we do here. That, you know, Larry's Bavarian heritage is pretty prevalent.
Employees make a huge difference for our company, so having the guys that have this broad industry knowledge, the ones that have been with us for a really long time, I mean, they've seen the changes and they realize what it took to get that steel out the door 20 years ago versus what it takes today, and the complexity of the jobs too. I mean, we're not just cutting and punching steel like we used to. There's a lot more that goes into these projects.
In the very, very early years, we lived right next door to the company, right next door, out the back door. So my dad was there all the time, and I remember we used to eat our dinners and lunches at the shop in the office. My mom gave up her nursing career in order to be the secretary and organize files.
Even before Larry, it was Larry Sr. who basically did a lot of patents, and he was an inventor. And then Larry took over, and when he took over, it was basically farm repair and a lot more machine shop work. Basically, Larry Jr. had to take it over because Larry Sr. had his issues with Parkinson's and that type of stuff, and he was sort of forced into the position.
Good. I was named manager of Endres Manufacturing Company when I was 12 years old, which was kind of funny. I'd work in the morning, go to school, come back at night, and then work again.
Yeah, back then, 1979, you know, Larry Endres was running the company. Ken was estimator, detailer, doing a lot of things. We
decided to move. We'd outgrown our space in the heart of Waunakee and bought this property. The site has since grown as we've added buildings, but at that time we were really on the outside of Waunakee. And now we're worried about the same thing we were before, becoming enclosed and surrounded and having no room for further expansion.
We made a lot of changes in the company over those years. 49 years later, Sam took over.
It was fun to grow up within the family business, whether it was coming in on Saturdays with Dad or summers when we worked here. There's definitely some years where I was not so excited to come into work early in the morning with Dad, but it was a great experience. The transition from generation to generation is always challenging. I think when Dad took over, he kind of pushed Larry to do a couple things that were different from what he aspired. I don't think I've pushed Ken too far yet. Considering he comes in here every day, it's hard to push the envelope too far.
Today we are a structural steel fabricator and a miscellaneous metals fabricator, and so stairs and railings, but basically it's a lot of big beams and columns that support the structures of larger buildings.
We've grown throughout the years, moving from a small fabrication and machining shop to a structural steel fabricator today.
We've got integrated computer systems, laser, robotics, different softwares to help us do all the things we used to do by hand.
You used to detail and draw everything by hand, and you know, faxes and everything. And
the technology has definitely changed within our industry. It's funny to go out into the shop, and when I give tours, one of the first things we go past is our own old machining department, and we're looking at the old equipment that Grandpa used to work on, old farm parts and small projects. And today when we walk through that area, it's basically empty. It's just one guy that kind of does a couple of the old milling and lathes and drills and all that type of stuff. Today the technology has changed so much. We got our first big robotic piece of equipment this last year, and what that's able to do compared to Having 4 or 5 guys do that operation, that one machine, is really taking that place and getting a lot more work done. Technology in all aspects is changing. I mean, even from the original welders that Grandpa had out in the shop floor to what we're using today, a lot more information, a lot more technology there. The industry's changing. I mean, construction industry as a whole is not what it used to be. We were just having a conversation earlier today about the way business used to be done and how much more it takes to get a job done these days with the changes, with the needs of our customers are so much more demanding than when they used to send us a set of plans and 2 months later we showed up with a delivery of steel. Today there's a lot more work that takes to get that delivery of steel to the job site.
The Endres Foundation was set up 20 years ago now, in 1996, and we just had a grant review meeting. This year we gave $160,000 to area nonprofits. The last grant period it was mostly education and health issues, but we do fund a lot of things.
It was an offshoot of Endres Manufacturing, and Endres Manufacturing had always been very philanthropical. When I was asked to serve on the board, I was very pleased because I knew that what they had given to the community in the past as a manufacturing company, it would be expanded as an endowment.
Well, here at Endres Foundation, we've had an incredible financial impact on a number of nonprofits throughout the area.
Through the donation, we have donated books to actually every elementary school within Waunakee. They had all approached us, and we have granted all of their requests.
Yeah, we keep trying to grow the foundation. We're doing a good job. Endres gives a certain percent of their annual profits to the foundation, so it is their outreach arm into the community.
The community side of Waunakee is probably one of my favorite things about the job. Waunakee is an awesome community. They've been great to work with. They enjoy having us here. I think there's a lot of businesses like ours that maybe don't have that communication and relationship that we have with the village. Whether it's hosting the Walktoberfest, which is a great event that we host, and people are able to come and enjoy the grounds and take advantage of this beautiful lot that we have here on the, now what's in the heart of town.
They're a top contributor in the community. They can encourage their employees to donate. They encourage everybody to, be part of something in the community, which is good.
Last year, and I was asked by Diane to help, the community had an art project they called Goats on Main. And so I worked with our CAD program, and I did a goat silhouette, and I had the guys at the burn table burn it up. And then this year's Barns on Main.
When it was the year of the goat, Diane asked me if I'd make one for each month. And we decided that the first goat was a little too big, so we shrunk it by about 25%. And after that, I thought they looked pretty cute. So I was real happy the way they turned out, and I think all our recipients were real happy with them.
Yeah, the future's tough. I mean, there's a lot of things that are changing in our industry. I am obviously very optimistic. I think there's great things happening. Construction's continuing to get better. The trades are going to be our biggest challenge, is finding employees to come in the door that are willing to work hard and do what the guys that have come before them have done.
I see Sam doing a good job. I see the new leadership. I like that we have a management team so that that responsibility is delegated and people are recognized for their skills and talents and their ideas, which is really good to sit around the table and listen to that.
I believe the future is bright. I'm excited to see what this next generation is doing, and I really hope that it'll go on to the generation after that and after that.
I remember so many stories from the early days that I know people nowadays wouldn't believe at what people sacrificed and what they made and how much they put up, how many hours they had to work, and how it's evolved during the years, 90 years and 9 decades. It's amazing. I'm very proud of it.
I've enjoyed it. I guess I plan to stay here till I'm at least 65 or whatever. I've enjoyed it. They've treated me very well, my family. They're a good company. I would never have any reason to leave.
The family business is an important part, and it's true that the employees become a part of family.
I think as other family businesses go, Endres truly cares about employees and shows that on a daily basis. I remember my first Christmas party, Ken walked up to an employee and said, "Oh, didn't your son just turn so-and-so last week?" And having 50 to 60 employees, for him to remember that, I thought was pretty impressive.
I think our goals are focused on growth while not losing that family feel. The things we've put in place, the management team, the changes we've made, sort of the strategy with the 80-20, so we can sort of focus on growth. And then I'd say the application of automation. We've already made a lot of investments when it comes to automation.
It doesn't matter where I go, there's always some footprint of Endres in the visual perception of where we are, and people do recognize that. As you can see, we've had 90 years of many ups and downs in our history and faced many challenges, made great progress, and that's with the help of family, with employees who have been part of our family who show a tremendous and wonderful work ethic, contractors that we have long-term relationship with, the community that looks to us for leadership and support. We're also very grateful that our community has accepted the Endres Manufacturing Foundation and the input that we have on community projects and nonprofits. And we look forward to the 5th generation carrying out this legacy. So now let's raise a toast, a stein of beer to Endres Manufacturing in our 90-year history. Thank you so much for your help and for sharing in this story.